my mind work backwards just for a minute? I hold on to you before the memory's gone. I remember you, you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember, I remember you, you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember. When I close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind worked backwards just for a minute, I'd hold on to you before the memory's gone. I remember you, you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember, I remember you, you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember. When I close my eyes, I can almost see it. When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs. And if my mind worked backwards just for a minute, I'd hold on to you before the memory's gone. I remember you, you lift my spirit. With you high is all I'm feeling. Remember how we felt alive. I remember you, you make me stronger. Can't go without it much longer. Remember, remember.
G'day, you good roosters. Welcome to March's Mancave sessions. See a few people already in chat. Steve and Stephen, how we going? Feel free to put anything in you want, Stephen. Steve knows the drill. He's already updated me on a few things, but we'll talk about that in a minute. It's been a pretty hectic summer, really, to be honest, especially for riding. After the Sound of Thunder race weekend, that was about 2 weekends ago at Christchurch, Ruapuna Raceway, actually, near the airport. I went up on Sunday and watched some very big fields racing, and some fantastic racing, actually. It was really good. And at lunchtime, there was a demo of the number 2 Brittens and an insane Moto 2 replica bike. I don't know what a replica Moto 2 is, but if that's a replica, I hate to see what a real one was. Insanely powerful. The thing was coming out of the sweeper onto the main straight, and he was power standing halfway out. It was amazing to see, and it was the loudest bike on the track anyway, that's for sure, all the day. You can see a little bit of it in the video I did on the Sound of Thunder and the Brittens. That's up on the channel if you haven't had a look at it yet. It was a great day racing, really, really hot, actually. We all got sunburnt. So, no, a very good day, enjoyed the day. Rode up with one of the guys on an MV Agusta. He had a Brutale, which was brutal, all right. That thing could go. But anyway, and unfortunately, sorry to say that there was a very serious incident on the Saturday. Friday was practice, Saturday and Sunday were racing. And there was a rider that didn't survive the accident, unfortunately. So, I'm not going to go into any details here, out of respect for the rider and his family. But we send our condolences, that's for sure. We know this happens from time to time, but it's still a shock to have it happen, especially in our own backyard. So, big respect to that rider. Very well known in Christchurch Bears circles. What else has happened? Well, we've actually, just go back to the bird again. It was basically, it was in the pits, and of course you could walk right up to it, watch them start it and bring it back in and all that. Nick Jeffries, that's the guy in the leathers there, he rode it about 30 years ago, and up at the Isle of Man, sorry, English guy. But anyway, so that was the Britain that we saw, as close up as you wanted to get. It's a New Zealand owned one, so, and the owners were very, very nice people, making sure everybody got the photos and video that they wanted, so that was great. So anyway, what else has been happening? Well, the first round of the 2024 MotoGP season last weekend at Qatar. It was always going to be interesting to see where the riders were all going to fall at the first weekend of racing. Looked a lot similar to last year, to be fair, really. Pecco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin at the front. Brad Binder in the mix there on the KTM. Brad Binder managed to pull out a second, so that was great. Jack Miller just off the pace. Back in the top 10, although he did crash out, but managed to get back up and finish the race. He came in last, but anyway, in practice, in official practice, he was sort of hovering in the high 10s. So that was interesting. Pedro Acosta, the rookie guy from Moto 2, still made the top 10 finish. He finished 9th after starting the race, the first few laps anyway, in 5th place before he's dropped away. And Martin Marquez managed a 4th, and that's the closest been to podium for a long, long time. So I think he'll be pretty pleased about that, and hey, he can only go up from here, can't he? So you remember he's racing for a satellite Ducati team, Gresini, so they'll be pretty happy with that too. I mean, it's the start of a long season, And so let's see what happens. If you're interested in MotoGP, then you can join our league on the MotoGP Guru, and you can try and predict race results, and then you accumulate points as you go. Every time you have a predict right or wrong, you get in the draw to win a Gresini team Panigale S, same as last year. Not there. Where did it get to? There it is there. So, yeah. So if you go, I'll put the link in the description at the end of the live stream where you can sign up for MotoGP Guru. It's free to join, free to enter. Some young fella from Indonesia won it last year, so that was good. It was good to see. Yeah. So that was MotoGP. I think the next round, can't remember the next round's going to be. I think Portugal next. So that'll be interesting to see, especially once Marc Marquez gets his feet. It'll be great to see. What else happened? Well, actually, if I'm thinking about it, last weekend there was a New Zealand speed record was broken. Fastest two-way average ever recorded in New Zealand, 366 kilometres. A guy called Cole Scammell was the rider on his highly modified Hayabusa. This image, of course, isn't from where the road he was on. This was, I guess he's a drag racer as well. So, yeah. So, yeah, anyway, so 366, that's no slouch. That's for sure. So, yeah. So, did you see that, Steve? You saw Moto 3? I didn't watch Moto 3 because it was, you can't get on demand in New Zealand anymore. It's just live. And so, I ended up watching highlights on YouTube the next day. So, I didn't watch Moto 3, but yeah, it was quite a good sort of race. I enjoyed what I saw. So Moto 3 was good, eh? Oh, that's good. What else you got there? You're talking. Yeah, I think so. I think old Marc Marquez he's going to win a few this year. That's for sure. So CF Moto. The CF Moto was it a copy of the KTM engine, or was it actual KTM engine? But I never saw that. That's amazing. It's good for the sport. That's for sure. Getting more people into the game, especially manufacturers, considering what that it's just some of the Japanese are dropping off. So anyway, let's just see what happens there. That's pretty good. There's a bit of delay, Steve, and I mucked around with the settings to reduce the latency, but obviously it's still not enough. KTM bike, the CF Moto, something I can't see. I'll give you anyway. So yeah, Stephen, are you still there? What are you up to, Stephen? Still riding bikes? Put something in the chat and let me know what you're riding. So anyway, that's MotoGP until, I guess it is, until Portugal coming up soon. So that'll be exciting to see. What else has been happening? Now, they're talking here, a government announced road user charges for all vehicles, well, they said cars. So diesel's already paying a road user charge, basically a fuel tax. And the government announced that they're going to do it for cars, including electric cars. But I don't know what they said about motorbikes. I don't know whether I missed it or what they said. But what do people think? Do people think... Did they say anything about bikes? Does anybody know? And also, what are if we're not exempt, how much rego are we going to pay? You know, we already pay massive amounts of fees in our rego for ACC and all that sort of nonsense. So I'd like to know whether we're going to be exempt, and if we aren't exempt, how much we have to pay. You know, it's crazy. Stuff coming to New Zealand. Well, it was 6 degrees when I went out today, so there'll be a bit of snow on the mountains. Funny how a couple of weekends ago, going up to Sound of Thunder, we got sunburnt. So, but welcome to New Zealand, you know. That's the way it goes. What else? Oh, now Clive Chapman, he's one of the head instructors for Ormsby motorcycle education, I guess. Riders do riding courses and stuff like that, and he tells me that there's a few spots left on the next Rider Forever Silver course, and that's slotted for the 24th of March in Geraldine. So if you don't know how to get hold of Ormsby motorcycle safety, just get hold of me, DM me or something, and I'll connect you up with Clive. That's a Ride Forever Silver course. Like you said, he's got a few spots left. 24th of March, that's going to be. So, yeah. So what else has been happening with the bike? Well, I did ride down to Moeraki on a Monday with Stretch. It was a pretty good ride on the way down, even though it's just State Highway 1 all the way. Bit of a grind. But, and we did get wet on the way home. So we got the bikes quite dirty. So anyway, I was cleaning the bike a few days ago. And as part of my bike cleaning routine, let me just sort that out. Yeah. I always clean the chain. Well, not always, but every 2 or 3 cleans, I'll clean the chain properly, scrub it and all that sort of stuff. And my chain's got a joiner link. So there's a bit of a story there. And why do I use a joiner link on a road bike? Well, not by choice. So anyway, I bought a Regina chain, which if you know the chains, you know, Regina's one of the real better ones out there. A nice, O-ring Regina. I would say Regina because we don't say Virginia now, do we? Anyway, so I put this new chain on, and I went and I had a chain breaking and thinging tool and all that sort of stuff, and I went to pin down the pins after I put the final plate on, the plate link, and it must have been super hard pins. I could not make a dent in them. They weren't, and I put the verniers on and they weren't really expanding or anything. Anyway, I squished this ball bearing thing that was supposed to be expanding it out. And so I ended up having to cut that off, and, well, I had to put a circlip link in there. And I guess if you look at the picture, you can see for yourself that something is missing in that picture. Well, this is what was missing in that picture. So, because I used to check every time I came back for a ride and clean the bike, I'd check, make sure that clip was still there. And I'd give it a thing, make sure it's still on. So it's come off, but it only must have come off on that last ride, because I cleaned it after Sound of Thunder. So, and it was still on then. So I always, as part of my cleaning routine, I check, make sure that circlip's there. Well, it's missing, of course. So that was a 450k day. So when it happened, I don't know. But anyway, so now I got that to sort out. So I've been talking to keep in contact with Steve there in the chat, and if you're watching, feel free to put something in the chat and say g'day, just so we know that you're here and all that sort of stuff. But Steve chats a lot. Steve's based in Australia and Melbourne, Ducati man like myself, and we've both been keeping an eye on this TD2 that come up for sale in Australia. I think it's called something like Classic Cars or something like that. Anyway, a bit like bring a trailer in America. But anyway, so this one, it's this beautiful TD2. I thought it was a real one, Steve. I thought it was a legit real one from the time, 1980 sort of thing. And if you don't know much about Ducatis, TD2 freaking won world championships, basically like a Formula 2 bike, a V-twin, 2-valve, carbureted, but just superb handling and very light. And I think that's why it basically cleaned up everybody else, all the Japanese. So a real iconic sort of bike. And they didn't make that many of them, the pure race ones. Anyway, one came up, and one came up for sale in Australia. They come up for sale very often. So me and Steve can keep an eye on it because Steve's got one as well. And I'll get him on one day as a guest, and he can put a photo or two up of his beautiful bikes he's got. So yeah, you can't pin him over. Well, I don't know how I had to press the blimmin' the last link plate on. So if you can't pin them over, I don't know how. What they do for those. But ultra hard, those pins, I can tell you that. Anyway, so Steve was saying that bike, the TD2, went for 70,000. That's what he's talking about in the chat there. So 70,000 for TD2, well out of my price range now. But I'm sure Steve will be pretty pleased about seeing that number. So, but a beautiful bike. It just Paul Pabb used to race one in New Zealand back in the late 80s, early 90s. British Motorsports from Wellington, they had one, and it was a beast. Yeah, really, really cool bike. Tiny bike, but just went like a demon. And yeah, that was Dallas Rankin built that bike from British Motorsports in Wellington. And of course, if you know British Motorsports, Dallas Rankin, a great friend of Philip Holden. So that's a connection there with Ducati and stuff. Yeah, that bike, I presume, still parked up in Dallas's garage somewhere or whatever. So yeah, got to get a proper rivet link version. Yeah, I don't know how to do it. Little Ghost, good evening. Good evening, Q. Glad you turned up. So, okay, Steve says his TD2's replica. Oh, I don't care, mate. Still looks awesome. Looks awesome to me. Same with his road bike. I bet you're enjoying a bit of riding now that you don't have to walk everywhere anymore, Steve. Be like Q. If you don't have you follow Q's channel, Little Ghost, basically. And Q gets away pretty much every weekend. He must have a very understanding wife, but if there's a rally, he's there. Q, can you tell me, did you go to the march here? Somebody told me it's the last one. Is that true? Is that the last march here? And somebody asked me the other day. I couldn't tell them, so. But anyway, Q's been up the top of the south lately, and I was very intrigued by one of those trips that he did where he went up to Collingwood, Golden Bay, up to Collingwood, and then he turned off and went over to the west coast. There's a road there that's sort of seal halfway, and then it turns to gravel. And then on the other side, you've got about 50 k's of gravel roads, good quality roads they look too, up and down the coast. So as low as that road stopped about 50 k's north of Karamea, so you can't do a loop, you've got to go in and back. But a big beautiful harbour there and everything, and it was a little piece of New Zealand that I really had no idea really what was there, and now thanks to Q and see what's there, and it really makes me want to get up there and go. You do it on on road tyres. It didn't look too rough, but it looked fantastic. You did go to the Hare, and you don't think so? You don't think it's the last one, or you don't think they're going to have another one? Yeah, the chain didn't come with both types because I had to. And it was an original box too. That new chain. So I had to punch that link back out after I buggered my tool, trying to peen it over, and go down the local shop, Timmery Yamaha, who I deal with a lot. They've always pretty much got everything you need there. Very rarely they don't have it in stock. And I'd grab a link, a little, with a link joiner kit. So anyway, that was that. Is this that Bert video you showed? Okay, so not the last March here. Well, that's great to know. That means I can tell whoever it was. No, it wasn't the last one. The Bert video. Is this that Bert video showed? No. You're talking about the roads there, Steve? No, I mean, that's a bit of sound of thunder there. Oh, it stopped going. That's a bit of video there. Some close racing, man. Some fantastic racing. You went at the top of the West Coast last weekend. Oh, did you get up to Karamea, Q? I've been up as far as Westport, but they say the West, and that's stunning enough ride, but they say that Westport up to Karamea is even better. So, yeah, okay. Steve there. Anybody else in chat? Just pop in, just have a chat and say g'day and let us know who you are, where you're from. We're just having a couple of beers and our normal Mancave beer session. Moto Social in Christchurch next Tuesday at the Ducks. Now that's the second to last one of the summer season. So, and then they have a couple, very few over winter, normally on the weekend during the day. So, yeah, and the Ducks is pretty cool. Even the new Ducks is pretty cool. So, yeah, if you're going up in Christchurch next Tuesday evening, swing by the Ducks. I guarantee there'll be a lot of bikes here because it's a good bar and there's heaps of room to park. And end of summer, people will be going, well, that'll be the last one I do. I'll go to that one till next year. So, okay, yeah. So, you went on the road from I can't pronounce it, Mokanui to Karamea. Yeah, I've got mates here with Guzzies, a family of Guzzies, this father and two sons, and they've all got Guzzies. And they do all their riding together basically, and that's their must-do ride every year. They blast up to Karamea. But so it's a bit lumpy because it looked pretty good. I dropped into, I really had to dig around there, Q, after I watched the video because I was quite inspired. So I dropped into Google Earth and got down and had a look at the road and it looked pretty good. So yeah, the new Ducks, it'll never be the Ducks of old, but it was all right. I'm sure a beer's still going to be about $13 though. Mind you, I don't drink much when I'm on the bike anyway. The best road for a Guzzy, just for a look and change gears. Yeah. Hey, we've got somebody in Nelson. STJB. How are you there from Nelson? You don't know one of my mates from Nelson that rides? Aaron Kenaway. He's riding a Triumph for a blue Triumph these days. So if you're from Nelson, you're probably pretty familiar with those roads of Little Ghost been riding up around Collingwood and across to the coast there. What are you riding? Can't call you STJB. Give us a name, or I'll have to, unless you're another Steve or something. So anyway. Yeah. Only thing I worry about up there is up Nelson Way is summer is all the loopies. You know, camper vans everywhere, isn't it? But yeah, I know a lot of motorbike riders based up around Nelson and all that. You know, you think the big motorcycle museum that used to be there, you know, it was there. And there's Ducati. There seems to be a lot of Ducatis up in Italian bikes. A lot of collectors and that up around Nelson. I bumped into... well, they have that big show, don't they, on day after New Year's. They have the big show and shine, the motorbike one there. At Tahuna, I think that is. So, yeah. So who do we think's going to win MotoGP this season? We talked about it before. Shan or Shane? Oh, you're Bandit. Oh, the 1250. Nice. I got a mate down here. He's got that one as well, the naked one, right? Yeah. Got a mate down here, Kane, and anyway, Kane. I'm sure he won't mind me telling the story. Kane got his Bandit and he's really excited about it, but when he's had a couple of these, he gets really creative, and anyway, he decided he didn't like chrome, any chrome, so he got out the black spray rattle can, and he sprayed every piece of chrome on the bike black, the backs of the indicators, everything, and it's just, and then he decided it wasn't loud enough, so he pulled the freaking muffler off and just left the header there. So he's got his Bandit and it's got a header and that's it. And yeah, he has a lot of fun on that bike. Pretty crazy bike. That's right. It has the GSX-R motor, doesn't it? It's basically like a naked GSX-R. Is that right? Yeah, g'day Mike. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, it's quite funny. He did that. His bike before that was a Harley, and so his nickname got called Harley Kane. And he did the same to the Harley as well. And funny enough, when he sold the Harley, he told the guy, he says, "Do you want me to take all that black rattle paint off?" And the guy says, "No, it's all right." And he got the same money for the Harley as he did when he bought it, so he didn't lose a dime on it. But yeah, he loves his Bandit, eh? He loves the Bandit. You can hear it coming a mile away. But our cops are pretty good down here generally. Yeah, well, so Mike's calling Marquez, eh? And Steve's calling Binder. Well, I must admit, I'd love to see Binder. I'd like to see him win some GPs. And I'd like to see the Aprilia as well. You see these... I always, like Steve, I always back the underdog, right? You know, and it's like... satellite team. That's why I really wanted Jorge Martin to win. I didn't really have any big... I wasn't a big fanboy or anything, but the fact that he was doing so well when he's a satellite team, I thought, yeah, let's see if he can win. So, yeah, it's good. I think we'll see Marquez, as long as he doesn't crash and burn too much, he'll, I reckon, get his confidence up during the season, you know. Yeah, Ducatis, man. I mean, most of the field's on Ducatis now. But that was like, like we talked about this before, wasn't it? Back in the 80s, and there was no European, all the bikes were Japanese. It was Suzuki, Honda, or Yamaha, and that was it. Then Kajiva came for a little bit, and then it didn't really do any good. And now it's come a full circle, back from where the British dominated in the 50s and the 60s, and then the Japanese came and got everything organised. Now it's swung back to Europe again. So, I mean, it's good for the bikes. It's good for the rider, you know. So, yeah. So I wonder what riding I've got coming up. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like I say, it was 6 degrees this morning here, and it's not sure. But we'll get a warm patch again. We'll get another warm patch. I did a quick trip out to Cave with one of my mates, like a midweek ride. The Cave pub had been shut down for a while, and anyway, it opened. Somebody bought it and reopened it, so we went out to have a look, and bloody fantastic. You know, it used to be literally a cave like the town, but I've opened it all up, and that was a midweek ride, so just me and a guy in a Panigale, so I was pumping the old gear lever trying to keep up with him, but no chance. But anyway, bloody good ride. Can hear somebody on a motorbike. Anyway, we've there's a motel near us and that, so people might be tuning up there on a motorbike or something like that. So, yeah. Yeah, Shane, mate, the old, they'd be talky as hell. I know that thing gets up and goes, that's for sure. So, the weather. So the weather here gets bad. For those who don't know, Steve's in Melbourne, Australia, so he's probably used to rain and wind. I was there a couple of months ago, and I think in 10 days, the day we got there was nice and sunny, and I thought, far out, this is going to be nice. And then the rest of every day after that blew and rained, so it's on a bay thing. But anyway, Steve's there, so if he's asking why, if you're wondering why he's asking about weather and stuff, he doesn't live around here, so where we're at now, we're going into winter, so it'll be squally and rain and cold and all that. And then winter time, depending on what side you're on, really. On this side here, it stays quite dry in winter, so we get lots of frost, and then clear days, but cold. But so we can still ride right through winter generally. You just got to watch out for ice on the roads if it's been raining the night before. Springtime, it's blowing on the side and raining on the other side. So I think where Shane is up in Nelson, they get pretty nice weather all year round. I'm sure they get some rain, but it's quite warm in there, so they get lots of sun. Yeah, well, I ride right through winter. Yeah, we do rides through winter, and that you sort of always keep one bike regoed and warranted right through, which is the multi. And still ride right through. What's your next? Is there any more rallies for the rally season, Q? Or are they all finished? Shane, you do some rallies? Yeah, Nelson, good roads around there, and yeah, not too many dairy farms, so not too many tankers up there. We get a lot of milk tankers around here, so between that and the camper vans, we're on the road from Christchurch to Queenstown, so a lot of traffic, especially in summer, tourists and camper vans. So yeah, winters there's not quite so many of them, but yeah, if you can get away from dairy farms, you're probably onto a winner. The roads aren't all torn up. So what else going on? Don't forget about the MotoGP stuff, eh? We've got a league going on, Dusty Visor Motorcycles League, or Dusty Visor I think it's called, league, so you can join the league and that, and you'll see me in there and a couple of other guys, and then you can put your, we can see who does well. I'll put a bottle of the good stuff up for whoever wins, gets the highest score this year. Yeah, Shane's saying it's sunny most of the time. Yeah, it's pretty warm up there. It's not, I don't know, it's like a pocket. Just the way it is, it's just really nice. Yeah, the MotoGP, because TVNZ now you had it last year, Plus or whatever. They had it last year, and you could just watch it on demand. So I used to just watch it on Monday morning. But they lost it now, and TV3's got it on 3 now. But you can only watch it live. There's no on demand. I'm not staying up till 2 or 3 in the morning to watch a race unless it's unless it's a deal breaker sort of race. So yeah, so I'm just watching the highlights on YouTube, and I notice I haven't picked one channel that I really like for MotoGP highlights. I just scroll around and see what's there, So. Yeah, I like that Takaka Hill. If you don't end up in a line of traffic behind the trucks and the campers and stuff, I guess early morning and that, if you get a good early start and that, you probably have a clear run, eh? And the motorcycle shop at Motorwake is still there on the main street at the south end of town. So I got my mate in Spain. I'll get him on the channel as a guest, and say he's Kiwi guy. I used to go to school with old Yoss, and he lives in Spain now, and he spent a lot of years over in Europe, mostly in London, and he was a courier rider back in the early 90s, all around London and all that, and then he used to save up his money and then just take his Tenere and go through Europe and go through Eastern Europe. Back in the days it was all still freaking, gypsies and that. And then he used to do these trips over to Morocco back in the days, when it was like, zero support. And anyway, he's still got that bike. So he's had that bike about 30 years, and he says it needs a major rebuild now, but and so, I said, look, well, how about you come on the live stream as a guest? Because, it's just me talking. It's bloody hard just talking myself. And then I'm going to operate I've got 2 screens going, and I've got the photos and stuff backed up and all that. But anyway, it'd be good to have a guest on, and somebody else can have a good old yarn, about bike stuff. But it'd be quite interesting because, now I think there's still motorcycle couriers in London, but I don't know if you've been to London through the 80s and 90s, that basically before the internet, that's how they got all the documents that are all over the show. And of course, you imagine going through Morocco in the 80s and 90s, that was pretty undeveloped then. So I'm trying to get Yoss on as a guest. He's 12 hours behind us, which means it's 10:15 in the morning for him. And he's a bit of a lazy bugger. He doesn't really work, so we should be able to get him on. He won't be able to say that he's at work or anything. And he's going to dig around and find some of his photos and that from around that time, and we'll get him on, and he can have a yarn and tell us a bit about his bike riding. So that'd be pretty cool. And I've got another mate from America. He used to live in New Zealand and he went back to the States. Well, he just come back to tidy up his affairs, and he's going back for good. But he was keeping me updated with all the riding he was doing back in the States. He was doing he lived in Montana. Right near where he lived, there's a place, famous road, like, I guess it'd be like the Pig Route or Takaka Hill. We're talking about Takaka Hill, called Beartooth Pass. And apparently it's a sealed pass. I don't know how many bends and corners it's got in it, but the pass itself is 13,000 feet. That's higher than Mount Cook. Yeah, higher than Mount Cook, 13,000 feet. And it's got like something like 60 something cursor and whatever in it. And he was saying he did it 2 or 3 times, and very popular. It's like you got the Tail of the Dragon in America that's real famous, and this one's right up there. Another one of those, the top 3 or 4. So I want to get him on as well, and he can show some photos and that of him, his bike parked on Beartooth Pass, and he's got photos, you can look down and see the road winding around, a bit like those passes up in Europe and Italy and Switzerland and that. Looks way, way cool, that's for sure. Except they were driving the wrong side of the road. So, anyway, what else is happening, everybody? Let's see what people are talking about. I've run out of things to talk about now. We normally go for about an hour. Yeah, so there's a bit of a delay, Shane, so when you post something on, I don't see it for a little bit, so that's why we end up having a couple of conversations at once. But Steve, I'm going to look up KO. I think I've been there before. 7:30 in the morning, Shane says, and it's pretty clear on a good morning. Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Cues on the bourbon. I think I've got one more beer here somewhere. And we talked about this the other day, that if you looked at your beer, your Corona, on the back, it said made in China. Then I bought an 18 pack and it was back made in Mexico again. So they must be getting rid of old stock, because these ones, you better see it better on a full one. Right there. Let me see if you can see that. Now, a little story there. It's interesting because I think we're guinea pigs for this, because too close. Made in China. So a mate of mine was telling me that Corona was the only beer that you could export, or that you could get anywhere in the world, that was all still brewed in the same original place. That it wasn't brewed under license anywhere. And then I said to him, well, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, mate, but the last lot of Coronas I bought, made in China. And then we did some digging. It turns out that it's still true, with the exception of Australia and New Zealand. Corona's now brewed in China. I hope it's not the same brewery where they videoed that guy with the security camera that was in the big trailer full of barley and he was having a piss. Probably explains a lot, really. But hopefully it was a different brewery. I think it was Tsingtao or something. Yeah. Old school phone calls are right. I don't know why. So I was saying at the beginning of the live stream that I did some adjustments in that and try and get rid of the delay in the chat, but it doesn't look like it's made much difference. I have to have a play with it. I could lower the resolution maybe, and it might speed things up, but I don't know. We'll just see. I didn't really notice in flavour. No, didn't notice the difference in the flavour. Okay, so you brought up Italy, Q. So a little bit of news. I am going to visit Italy next soon, very soon. And who's quarter Italian? Buenos dias, mate. So anyway, yeah, cat's out of the bag. I'm going to go to Italy and have a crack, and go and have a look over there. And of course, priority is I'm going to stay in Bologna, which is, of course, the Ducati factories there. And I've already marked out all the museums. MotoGP Museum, of course, which is up right next to the factory. It's a bit out of the way, but that's my second. It's second on my list. And then there's Laverda and all the other ones. Anyway, they've all got museums. There's a National Motorcycle Museum near Rimini. And of course, Rimini also, Bermuda's there. So I'm going to stick my head in Bermuda and see what's going on there, because I've already had a look on their address, and definitely that it's still alive according to Google Earth. So who knows what sort of bikes they've got in there. So Yeah, I booked the factory tour, mate. Booked the factory tour. So, yeah. So that's good. Yeah, doing the factory tour. Going to be based in that town, actually, and then just catch the train from there to all the other places. So, what I really want to do is I want to find the local cafe bar close to the Ducati factory and go in there after work and just talk to the people that work in the factory too. So, yeah, pretty excited. I'm not sure. I mean, the Ducati one, that's going to be good and all that, but the Guzzi one up on Lake Como at Mandela Delario, apparently the whole town is just, it's not a big town and it's kind of pretty focused on Guzzi. So I'm looking forward to seeing the statues, you know, the timekeeper and all that. And yeah, getting up to there. And you got to pay for the Ducati one unless you are in the Ducati Owners Club, which I am, and it's free. And you get a discount if you own a Ducati. And you've got to book and pay in advance, which I've done all that. The Guzzi one, you have to book in advance, but I think it's free. I think it's a free tour, but you do have to book in advance. So I'm, yeah, those are my two priorities. So the Bermudas, I'm not sure what engine they're using at the moment because they went for a stage of Ducatis, DB1 of course, obviously, and DB2, and I guess they haven't tried to shoehorn any of the big four valves in. But yeah, I don't know if they were Kawasaki now or Suzuki again. I think just trying to think what that Manta one was, and the Manta, and there's a guy up in Nelson actually, Shane, that's got he's got I don't know, a big collection, but he was selling a few of his bikes, and he had some cool Bermudas, and they were immaculate. I'm not sure what made it, but I'm just going to stick my head into Bermuda because you don't hear much from them anymore, but they're still going. So I'll stick my head in there and see what's going on. So, and then my daughter wants to go to Ducati World. There's a theme park that has, I think it's in Rimini or near Rimini, and it's got a roller coaster where you hop on these motorbikes like Ducatis and do it. So she's keen on doing that. So it's going to be a good time. It'll be a good time. Whether I'll get some riding in, I don't know. It's looking doubtful at this stage. So, yeah, but anyway. You know, little goes onto his homebrew bourbon. So, yeah, will be an awesome trip. So, Q, you're going to let me know if you want to do the live stream thing, mate. It takes a little bit to get set up, but you're about the same as me tech-wise. You can work everything out, unless you want to sit there on your phone and just do it like that. But yeah, so definitely when I get back, I'll have all sorts of stuff to heaps of material for more videos, that's for sure. Nobody's really done, I haven't found one. If somebody's found one, let me know, where you done a video on, you know, tips or things, you know, like we all know, most of us know that you got to book if you want a factory tour. But other things like, where's the best place to get merchandise from? You know, is there a market in town where you can buy your t-shirts or whatever that, you know, because they're going to be expensive as hell at, you know, what Ducati's like at the factory. Just all those, you know, little tips and tricks and stuff. Nobody's really done it. So, you know, I know that Bermuda is on the road into San Marino, well, and that's near Imola. Imola or Monza, always get mixed up. But they're, anyway. So I might do a video like that too, and a couple of other bits and pieces, who knows. Sneak my phone camera into the factory and get some secret scroll images. Nah, won't do that. So hey, Shane up in Nelson, did you get down to the street racing at Greymouth? That was that's always a bloody good weekend actually. The last 2 years the weather's been great. You know, yeah, no, it's been good weather. And quite a few guys coming down from Nelson. My mate came, the guy I told you about with the blue Triumph, he's from Nelson. He came down. So Steve, what do you reckon your TD2? You're saying yours is replica, so that's like to buy a copy of the frame, which you can get. It's like sort of build one up from buying the bits and stuff that you need. That'll still be worth a few dollars, that's for sure. I know the sport bike guys set up in Bay of Plenty in New Zealand now. You can buy a Cobus frame rolling chassis off them, built by them, and I'm sure they pimp out a motor as well if you wanted. But the rolling chassis is, I say only, I think it was like about 15,000 New Zealand, which isn't too bad, I would have thought. So, yeah, no, well, Shane, that bloomin', yeah, the Greymouth Street Race, that's a good weekend. Bloody good weekend, actually. So, heaps of bikes around. All right, we'll play a game then. Shane, your favourite road, mate? Favourite road to ride? Was it Takaka Hill? Or what's the favourite road you've ever ridden on? Especially on that Bandit, because it'd be a beast for that sort of stuff. How about everybody put your favourite road in the chat, just so we can see. Otherwise, we can call it a night. We've been going for an hour. Yeah, I know. It's like the save you got a top 3 or a top 5 roads. Not so bad. Mount Hercules and the Karamea Hill, Crown Range. Well, I used to live in Gibson Valley, and the Crown Range road back then was gravel, and we used to drink at the Royal Oak in Arrowtown, and maybe have a few that we shouldn't have had, and then we used to go spotlighting up all the way to Cadrona. But the pub was always closed when we got there, by the time we got there. But it was always gravel then, and I always thought it was great. Then they sealed, and I thought, far out, what do they seal it for? And in a way, they kind of did ruin it, but in a way, it's a great road as well. But the problem is all the loopies on it. It's terrible, and of course, they don't know how to drive. My biggest fear on that road is some frickin' camper van coming around one of those tight corners on the wrong side, because it must happen all the time. Pig route, yeah, I like the pig route, Mike, but see, for me, the pig route, it's all at the Palmerston end, Palmerston to Ranfurly. The rest is kind of pretty boring. I mean, it's nice views, but, and, you know. Shane says Lewis Pass. Yeah, I like the Lewis too. The Centre-West seems to be a cop between Hamner and the actual pass, eh? Have you noticed that? I got pinged in there, down there a few years ago. What about that road, the Westport down to Greymouth? That'd be another good early morning road, you know. The gorge through Cave is epic. You mean the one, which one are you talking about, Q? You're talking about the one where you turn off at Cave and you go over Pariora and pop out south of Timaru. Which I do that quite a lot, actually, that one. Biggest thing there is watching out for cow shit on the roads. Yeah, the Lost Highway, I don't know if I've done that. Taranaki, I haven't really done. I've been around from the bottom because I used to live in Wanganui. I used to live up the Wanganui River, actually, a little place called Jerusalem. But I've been around the bottom side as far as New Plymouth, but I've never been further north than New Plymouth on Taranakis. And I presume that road you're talking about's up there. Yeah, Perrier Gorge, you're right. I do enjoy Perrier Gorge. Yeah, St. Andrews, that's right. It does. Pops out just north of St. Andrews, that's right. Okay. Yeah. What about, Shane, what about when you turn off at Nelson Creek? So you go up the Grey from Greymouth, turn off at Nelson Creek, and sort of go through Moana and Lake Brana, and then pop out at Jackson, sorry. I quite like burning through there. It's quite good. Just gotta watch out for weckers. Well, there used to be a golf course at St. Andrews, and people would go and play there just to say they've played at St. Andrews, but just not the right one. But it closed down. They turned it into a farm. So, yeah. All right, team. Well, unless somebody else has got something they want to go over, let's go and wrap it up here for March. April, I'll probably do one third Friday of the month, and depends. It might be a bit more basic. I might be hanging off my phone, but it could be somewhere interesting too, you know. So watch the space, I guess. But I'll let you know, and I'll keep you updated in the on the Facebook group and on the channel. So yeah, and so I'm trying to get to, I think the next stop, 400 subscribers. We're working towards. Yeah, so when that happens, I'll do another draw, and I'll try and get some more mugs made, and I'll try and get another one out to your queue. I'm gutted that one broke, but anyway, we'll do that. And what roads did I travel when I was there? I just went down to the Seven Apostles. That's all I did, and stayed around town. So anyway, yeah, Q, and yeah, Shane, thanks for stopping in, mate. I appreciate it, and good to have someone else to chat about stuff. So yeah, have a good weekend, and if you think of anything else you want me to go over, let me know for the next one, eh? Take care, everybody. Safe riding. Sub the channel if you want to be in to win the prizes at the next draw at the 400, like I said. So yeah, anyway, good talking with you, Shane, and of course all the regular crew. Catch in the in a month's time. Yeah, it's at 12 Apostles. That's the one. What did I say? Can't remember now. Yeah. All right. Catch you later.